And then turn. So you used to come on the show like back. This was before Carlos was on the show. This was way back in the midday, and you were local celebrity, and you would come with your husband at the time, right. And you came on at least 3 or 4 times, and every time you would leave, we would say, "Man, she is cool, but that guy's an a-hole. I hated your husband, and I almost didn't want to have you come back because we had to deal with him because he was." Really kind of a bossy to you. He would tell you what to do. He would and every time you would leave, I'd be like, that guy's a jerk, And then what? For those that don't know, he tried to kill you.
Right.
What? Yeah, he tried to kill you, and then after he tried to kill you, I mean, he's in prison now. Is that not true?
That's true.
So okay, so I remember thinking what a jerk this guy was, and then after you won some championships and stuff, and it says I'm reading the paper that you don't mind talking about it now. I wouldn't want to bring this up if you were uncomfortable about it. But you now want to talk about it after all these years, right?
Absolutely. I have to. I always say God left me here for a reason, and that reason is to share my story and to help others,
Nice.
hopefully get out of the situation. But he was a jerk. But why didn't you guys tell me then?
Well,
all these people after the fact are like, we hated him. He was such an ass.
You wouldn't have listened.
You wouldn't have listened.
I hated him too. I was stuck. I mean,
but when you're in it, you don't see it. You have to come out of it in your right time.
And Christy Martin,
you're part right. But I did see it, and I did know it. And for 20 years, he told me, "I'll kill you if ever you leave."
Whoa.
And so at some point, I just
you believe it.
I did buy into that of all the crap he told me.
When did you guys get together? When did you guys get together?
Like 91 or something.
Now, so
I was 21,
22
years old. Yeah. And he was, he was an old dude.
Yeah.
He was
how much older? What was I thinking?
How much older was he than you?
25 years.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember
he
that.
was older than my dad.
And Carlos, this was before you. They would come in, and it's like he was the dad telling her what to do, but she was the champ.
Sure.
She was the one everyone loved. She was the coal miner's daughter. Wasn't that your?
Right.
Yeah,
That's amazing that you, remember that.
I remember
So it must have been, of all the people
Christy,
you see, so that must have really, stuck into your mind.
I remember you so well because I remember, oh my God, this old guy is telling her what to do. And when I saw in the news that he tried to kill you, now how did he try to kill you?
Yeah, first he stabbed me 4 times, 4 serious times, and then he pistol whipped me, and then I told him he didn't have the balls to shoot me, and he shot me.
Oh my God!
Probably were thinking that.
He missed my heart by 3 inches. I mean. It's really, I'm very, very lucky. I was shot by a 9mm. I mean, not that many people get to walk away from that.
What got to that point? What was,
because I left.
Right, no. But it basically, that was the worst part of it. What led up to that? What was that night or that day that led to that horrific moment?
Well, I had gone to cocaine as my escape.
Okay.
So finally, I got so low, and I was I looked in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, you look like an addict. No, you are an addict.
You are an addict, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm getting clean. I'm gonna, get back in the gym. I'm gonna do all the right things, and I'm leaving this guy. And that's what I told him. I'm like, look, I'm getting clean. I'm going back to the gym. I'm gonna, get away from you.
Did you realize that you were doing the drugs and doing the stuff because you were in such a horrible relationship, or do you think it was other things that led you to the drugs?
I think it was just escape from the relationship. I was so unhappy. I hated him.
He was so mean to you.
He was mean to me.
In front of us, okay? Yeah. We're radio. In front of us, he was really mean to you then.
He was degrading.
Yes.
He always put me down. And anything that happened, I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1996, and he wants to tell me how it was because of him.
That's typical abuser mentality.
Well, what do they call it? Yeah, what do they call that? That's the Spengali. Yeah. So he tries to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. But you make it, you live.
Right.
Did you, in your head, did you think you needed to cover for him a little bit at that time? Because sometimes when people are in abusive relationships, they feel like it's my husband, I got to cover for him. Did you have any of those feelings?
No, I was laying there after being stabbed before he shot me. I was thinking, I was begging him to please help me. Don't let me die. And then finally something clicked. This guy can't let me live because, he'd already tried to kill me. So I'm going to tell somebody, right? Then that's when I was like, okay, I hate you. I've always hated you. And you don't have the balls to shoot me. And he shot me.
And he shot you. Now, when he shot you, did you think, damn, I shouldn't have said that?
You know what? I think it must have knocked me out. I must have passed out. I prayed. I'm like, God, please show me some way to get out of here. I heard the shower water turn on.
Yeah.
And when I heard the shower water turn on, I got up, got my car keys, was going to drive myself to the hospital. He had cut my calf muscle from my leg.
Oh, my God.
And so I'm like, I get to the car, it's the wrong damn keys. So I go to the middle of the road and carjack somebody. And the guy, Rick Cole takes me to the hospital. He's my angel. From there, it's kind of history, I guess.
Now, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember, he was upset because you were having a relationship with somebody. Was that the story?
Well, that's the story, and of course, the media sensationalized it, that I left him for a woman. That's not really the case. I just left him, and there was a woman involved in it, or I was involved, but it wasn't really like that. It wasn't like I was leaving him for
a
her.
woman, and
I
he
was
got
just
mad because you're lesbian or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he
yeah.
wanted to blame it on, I'm lesbian and blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, but he shot you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what somebody does to you. You don't
No.
have the right to shoot them.
So, okay, so when you go to the hospital, you tell them, well, this is who shot me. How quickly did they get to arrest him? Like, how fast did he go to jail?
He was on the run. Now, this man is 65 years old, and he stayed hidden from the Orlando police officers for a week. But I kept telling him, I'm in the hospital. I'm telling him he's down the street. He's at the friend's house. And they're like,
and it was
well,
national news. I mean, because you were one of were you not? I mean, probably not the first women's champion, but you were the first popular women's champion that I remember. You were a huge deal worldwide, and this was worldwide news, right?
It was worldwide news. It was pretty amazing to me that that it was news. But yeah, I mean, how can this man stay hidden? And I'm telling him, he's down the street. But
I'm sorry. When you survive something like that, stabbed, shot, this guy wanted you dead, and when you survive something like that, how does that change you?
Oh my goodness, it makes me realize that God does have a plan for me.
Yeah.
And I have to live up to that plan. I don't always know what it is. I can't put my finger on it yet and say this is what my plan is, but I have to do good. I have to do good for somebody.
Oh my gosh.
And I do that by trying to speak, and I go to domestic violence shelters, I go to prisons, I go all different places to share my story and say, get the hell out. There's people that want to help you.
Yeah.
But like Jim convinced me that the world hated me. I mean, he probably convinced me that you guys hated me.
No, we loved
he
you.
told me everybody, the boxing world, my family, he had everybody hated you.
Now, okay, why do you think you believed that? Why? I mean, what is it about you that made you believe this one guy when everyone else was probably covering you with adulation? Why do you think you believed him?
I think it's just time, and you hear it over and over and over, and it's just like, you get to that Stockholm syndrome thing.
Did you have any father issues yourself?
No.
No, you never had
No.
any.
No,
Yeah.
my dad is. I have the best dad in the world.
Yeah, that's very rare because that's usually like a connection of somebody older coming in and playing that role in your life.
I've always had an issue with older men though. Like since I was 15 or something, I was always after older men, so it was easy.
I totally agree. When you feel like you're in love with someone and that person tells you something so many times, I mean, I get it. I know. I've been I was in an abusive relationship, like not like that, but where this person tells you no one really likes you. You're gonna die alone. You're horrible,
Right.
and they keep saying it, and you actually start to believe it. Yours is a much bigger scale, but when did you? Okay, what did it take for you to realize that none of that was true?
After he shot me.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
After he shot me, I was in the hospital, and I just started getting text messages and calls from all these different people, and like nobody liked me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right,
That was part of the story.
And then when I saw
And he
the,
always wore all that jewelry, remember? Because you guys were busting on him one time. Like, wow, that's really cool. How much did Christy pay for that?
oh yeah,
But-
we would bust it, and he got mad at us.
Yeah.
You were there too.
Savannah was here.
I used to do a lot of drugs.
All right, we got Christy. Matter of fact, I've got it up here. It's the lady is a champ. It's a
How
picture of her on the
great is
cover
that?
of
Cool.
Sports
Dude,
Illustrated.
that's amazing.
It's amazing. So after that, did you not? I believe you opened a gym right here in Orlando, didn't you?
We had a gym in downtown Orlando. Then we moved our gym out to Apopka.
Yeah.
I was out there for a lot of years. Had a great amateur team. I mean, I took amateurs, the kids around every weekend. That's what I missed the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss Florida. Oh my God, being back in Florida, being
Yeah.
over there by the beach or in the ocean. I'm like, oh,
Nice.
come back.
It's so fun. It's so good to see you because you always were one of my favorite guests to talk to because you just will say anything. But that a-hole, man, that guy was so, and then he ends up trying to kill you. That's so crazy. Okay, so now I know we're waiting for a phone call from Evan Holyfield. That's Evander Holyfield's son. And are you managing him? Is that what you're doing, or?
I'm not. His promoter is Main Events, who also promoted and built Evander to his, the highest, one of the best heavyweight champions ever. But they have loaned him to me.
Ah, nice.
For this fight in Daytona, so it's added oh my gosh, tremendous spark to the show.
1,000 questions for you, but I know this is a limited time with who we have on the line, and right now on the line is Evan Holyfield. Hello, Evan. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
What's
I
up,
am
young
doing
Holy?
wonderful. How old are you, Evan?
I'm 22.
22 years old. Okay, obviously your dad, heavyweight champion of the world, the great, Evander Holyfield. I'm sure you get this question all the time. What made you follow in your father's footsteps? Like, at what age did you know that you wanted to do this?
I really wouldn't even say I'm following his footsteps because personally it was something I just felt like it should spell on me. And I was around when I had my first fight when I was 8, and I won. But my mom took me out and she put me into every other sport I possibly could do, until the age of around 14, 15. And that's when I came downstairs and I sat them both down and I was like, hey, I'm ready just to focus on one sport, because I understood at the time, growing up with my brother Elijah, he only focused on football, and stuff like that. And it was starting to get him, it was taking him places. So I was like, you can't really have your hand in too many pots and kind of really focus up on one thing.
Right.
And I didn't like team sports like that because, when I played football or basketball, if we lost, everybody was pointing at each other and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Willing to take the blame.
Yeah.
Boxing is one of those sports. What you put in is really what you get out. So I really fell in love with that. And I really fell in love with, the whole story of boxing. It's more than just two fighters. Everybody has a story. And, there's always something different about, styles. It's more personable, than any other sport.
On the line with us right now, Evan Holyfield, who's got a fight coming up. Is it this weekend?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. Okay, Evan, here you're 22 years old. Do you feel like you're in your prime right now?
Oh, definitely not. I feel like I'm just getting started in this thing.
Just getting started. Okay, so you at 22, and then you look at your father at 22. Who would win? You versus your dad at 22. What do you think?
I think he doesn't want it.
You know what? That's what you're supposed to say. What would your dad say about that?
He probably think I don't want it, But that's what you can ask any boxer, and any boxer said the same thing.
Yeah.
I miss Florida. I mean, I'll be
Sounds
honest.
like you need to come back.
I miss Florida, but she's way successful. She has great businesses, and we can't really leave.
Hey, when that came out and everything, it's not like it is now. Now it's no big deal. I mean, back then, a little more controversial. Did you have to deal with any hatred, any kind of problems when you came out and said, "Listen, I'm in love with a woman. I'm a lesbian"? Was it difficult?
It really wasn't. But at this point, I'm old enough that I don't really care what
Right,
everybody else
sure.
thinks. I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I'm going to do and be who I am. And I feel so much better that I get to be legitimately who I am.
Sure.
And people can like it or not. It doesn't matter.
Man, I am so glad you came by.
Yeah, me too.
You
Wow.
missed you.
Thank you.
Please don't be a stranger. We'd love to
For
hear from
sure.
you after the fights. Let us know what
Oh, that'd
happened.
be great. Yeah,
and
for
stay
sure.
stay in touch with us, okay?
For sure.
What
You
a
got me.
what a great
Back in the
story.
family.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay!
Back in the family. All right, there you go. Don't bring that a-hole around anymore, though.
No.
All right. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Monsters of the Morning.